Okay, for today's episode of Street Process, we're starting off in Chowk Bazaar in Dhaka, which is a very crowded place at the moment during Ramadan. So what I'm going to do is shoot with the 28mm today because it's so crowded. I'm trying to get more into the frame. I think that'll work well. I've got black and white film, yellow filter, currently Kentmere 400 at 400. So as you can see, it's a very close proximity kind of environment, which makes it a little bit tricky, but there's always something to shoot. So you can see how extremely busy it is in this area, to the point where it's hard to even move and compose. So the best thing to do is try and get as much in your shot as you possibly can. So the hit rate tends to be a bit lower when shooting in this style, but it gives you those opportunities to create multiple elements across the frame, as I was just trying to do there with having different faces across from the right to the left side of the frame, with different elements popping up in the background. But it's hard to get shots without too many interactions, because everyone wants to talk to the camera and interact here because of that curiosity. But that's just part of shooting. Yeah, it's part of the fun. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, welcome from
Australia.
Australia, I go to Australia.
Oh, good. So when it's this hot, it's actually a bit hard to shoot in that area for too long. So what I might do is continue this episode of Street Process somewhere else, where we can maybe slow down just a little bit and be able to break down some of the scenes a bit more and just mix it up on this roll of black and white. Alright, so that was a bit insane, wasn't it? Chowk Bazaar in Dhaka during Ramadan in the iftar market is going to be crazy like that. You could actually go there and shoot plenty of rolls, but it just takes a lot to stay out in that heat. If it is hot, like most days here, that was about 35 degrees yesterday, and today we're going to do something a little bit different, turn the chaos down just a little bit, and continue shooting for this episode of Street Process, somewhere where you might have recognized from some of my street photography vlogs here in Bangladesh from about a year and a half ago, in an area called Mahakali, which is where I'm walking to now, from Banani down to that area where there's like a good amount of chaos of people getting on buses after they finish work. Similar to what you also might recognize from a Street Process episode I did here next to this highway, where there used to actually be a fence, where I had those shots of people coming in and out through the fences. But as you can see, that fence is gone now, and they finished building this elevated expressway, which was under construction back then. So it's changed things up a little bit in terms of the dynamic of this type of shooting, but it means that there's a different concentration of people catching buses where we're heading to, which is cool. It just mixes things up a little bit. So it's kind of like late spring heading towards summer, I guess, but it's always hot here. And it is hot currently. It's not too bad, but you'll notice the sweat. In terms of shooting, Leica M-A again, I've switched back to the 35mm yellow filter, continuing a roll of Kentmere 400 that I'm 10 shots into from before. And I do have some spare black and white film and a roll of Color Plus in case I really want to shoot color. But it's a bit hazy today, it's a bit overcast, so I think black and white should work well. So hopefully you enjoy this second half of today's episode of Street Process, and I'll catch you when we get there. So the great thing is you can either choose to walk along here where there's a lot of industrial type stores and get a lot of activity to do with that and the highway on the left side as you're walking towards Mahakali, or you can come across and walk along the train line underneath the elevated expressway. It makes for a great opportunity to slow it down even a little bit more and find some more isolated scenes with those little shops along the dirt path, the people that just hang out on the train line, which you'll see will increase as we get to where we're going. Not to mention, every now and then the trains that pass by with the people overflowing out of the windows, riding the rooftop or the front of the train. So it just creates a little bit more of a dynamic shooting environment. So definitely one of my recommendations if you come to shoot in Dhaka is to spend at least an afternoon walking along one of these train tracks with things on either side of the tracks where just expect the unexpected and there's always something new popping up. And then eventually we'll head to that intersection as it gets busy there with people catching the buses. But for now, I'll keep shooting here under the bridge for a while and see what I can get. So even just now, the way this girl is swinging that bit of fabric could make for a good shot. Go with about 5.6. What you'll find is hard though is as soon as you point the camera, people will bring their attention to you even more. And even though I'm choosing to shoot black and white, you can see there's an amazing assortment of color that you can work with as well if you want to do that. And just here I'm noticing a bit of a crowd, so I'll head there, see what's going on. There's a few kids flying these kites as well, which could make for an interesting shot or two. Playing tug of war with the bamboo. It's a good one. I might circle back and get a lower angle of that. I'll continue towards this crowd and see what's going on there. So sometimes it's not too hard to get those semi-candid or even semi-posed street portraits before people even get a chance to notice what's going on. So I'm back here for this lower angle of the kids flying the kites. I'm trying to keep one of the kids here in the foreground. So you can't tell in this video, but these kites are actually flying really high. So these kids, they must be very skilled at flying. I think this guy that just came to speak to me, he's taken over just to show off a little bit. Yeah, very beautiful. So as you can see, there's not much reason to feel intimidated, even though that is the feeling you'll generally get when you stand out and everyone's kind of staring at you. But whenever there's an interaction, it's pretty much been friendly, as you've seen so far in the video. As you can see right now. Hello. Achin.
I do.
Good.
Yeah.
Very nice people.
If you want to hear more about Dhaka as an outside visitor, some tips, the safety aspect, including some insights from locals, I'll have a video coming out on my personal channel, which you can find a link for in the video description.
See ya. So once you can get past that, it just makes it easier to get photographs and just get in a little bit closer if that's what you enjoy doing. Not that you have to, but yeah, there is that culture shock that you kind of can easily work past here. More than anywhere else, I think, that I've ever shot. I've hardly had any bad interactions. Maybe just one in the 3 times I've been here, and it wasn't even that bad. It was just someone saying, don't take photos of my shop or something like that. YouTube channel? Bazaar?
Talk Bazaar.
I went there yesterday.
Going.
I already went. So
Okay, yes sir.
nice to meet you. And something like that won't happen too commonly, but you know, like that guy wanting to see the YouTube channel to follow it, he might watch it sometime down the track. But I found that most people don't even tend to be on their phones too much, compared to somewhere like Australia at least. 250 f4. Climb this bit here. We're already 30 shots into this roll, so it's not hard to get through film here. Okay, so we're approaching the next area here where I'll come to shoot at this intersection, which if you ever want to find it, just look for the SKS shopping mall. SKS shopping mall, you'll be able to find this intersection. And what I love about shooting here, as I mentioned before, is the way people get on and off the buses, which, as you'll notice, they don't stop. The buses don't stop. You have to just kind of run on and hop on the bus, even if it's full, and hope that there's a spot there for you. So it just makes for a chaotic street photography scene that at least I enjoy coming to shoot whenever I'm here, and that I'll spend at least the rest of this roll and start another one on shooting in this area as we approach this peak hour, where you'll even have trains coming through, those boom gates being closed. So hope you enjoy the rest of the vlog. Okay, so I just finished a roll. I loaded a roll of HP5, which I'm going to push to 1600 since it's a little bit darker today. Another train approaching now. There's a good scene coming up right now.
For 120mm reels for nearly about 6 months.
120 is very hard. You know, a classic camera, Dhaka?
Exactly.
It's fascinating, I'm reaching peak sweat, but I'm going to keep shooting, and hopefully you're getting an idea of why it can be so fun to shoot here. Alright, so it's time to end things here. I've had a great time shooting throughout this video, both parts. Which shots did you enjoy the most? I haven't seen any of them yet. Did you like the chaos of Chowk Bazaar, or of the people catching the buses over there at Mahakali, or the little moments in between, they're not so chaotic? Let me know what you thought, and hopefully you enjoyed coming along